Yo, what's going on? It's your boy, Mr. Locario. So in this video, I wanted to talk about how to be the type of woman a man wants for a relationship, right? Because I get women hit me up all the time. They're like, how do you get a guy to want a relationship? Seems like these guys just want sex. These guys want to play games. They're playing around. They don't want to commit and all this other stuff. Now, there's so many different things we could talk about when it comes to this. We can talk about the fact that there's a lot of women who want a specific type of guy. Let's say the top dude, the good-looking guy who has a lot going for himself. He has a good job, makes a lot of money. A nice personality. Think of your ideal type of guy, or the ideal type of guy that most women would want. That dude, depending on, his personality and what he's looking for, a lot of times those guys are not in any rush to be in a relationship. Now, there are some guys that are like that. You can find here or there based off of their upbringing, what they believe that will actually want a relationship. But most of those guys, if a guy knows that he is the cream of the crop, he knows that a lot of women want him, he's in no rush to settle. Why? Because he can get lots of women. And what women need to understand is that for a man, being able to get a lot of women is very appealing, right? I had women who would say to me, they think that, they'll say, if I see a guy who's in his late 30s, early 40s, and he's single, they're like, well, why is he single? There must be something wrong with him. No, there's actually not anything wrong with him. He just didn't want to settle down yet. He doesn't want to be in a relationship. Why? Because he's having fun. See, guys don't think about it the exact same way women think about this. So you're thinking, oh, I want that one person that's really good that I want to, stick with and build something with and all this other stuff. Guys think about that too, but a lot of guys are not thinking about that at the beginning, especially if they're the top dude. You understand? So it's not that he's not settled down because there's something wrong with him. It's not settled down because he's still out there doing his thing. Now, you have the other guys who would love to be in a relationship who's not the top guys, who are, your average run-of-the-mill guys, might have a decent job. He's not as sexy as the top guy, but he's a nice guy. This guy, he has no problem settling down because, he's just happy to be with a woman. But see, most women aren't really, rushing to get with that guy. You understand? So there are these guys out there that you could have these long-term relationships with if you want that, but most of them aren't the type of guys you want. You see how it goes? But how do you as a woman get a guy to want to, actually have a relationship, whether he's that top guy, even sometimes the average dude or whatever? And it's really one simple thing, is that you have to be relationship material. It's that simple. See, a lot of women want relationships, but they don't ask themselves, am I relationship material? Now, what is relationship material? The short answer is a woman who has something more to offer than her vagina. Okay? So you have to think about that. Now, some women may think that they have more to offer, but you have to really think about it. Because what happens is women get confused because they think that they have a lot of guys that like them and that these guys are just scared of commitment. No, the guys like you because they want to have sex. But the reason why they're not committing is because your relationship material aspect of, who you are isn't up to par. Because if you find a guy who actually wouldn't mind being in a relationship, or he might be even looking for a relationship. He's like, I've been out here, I'm trying to look for somebody that I could, be with and everything. So when he dates you, he's looking if to see if you are that girl. And sometimes there might be things you're doing that are displaying that you are not that type of girl. And for every guy it's different, it's a different thing, but there's certain general things that, most dudes like. Like most guys like a woman who is submissive. Most guys like a woman who is very pleasant to be around, like she has a nice attitude. Most guys like a woman who follows their lead. Most guys like women who can cook and clean. You understand? Like, these are certain things that guys like, and they'll take notice of that and be like, okay, she is good for a relationship. Because remember, most guys will have sex with, a number of different women. There's not really a high criteria for a guy to want to have sex with a woman, but it's a very high criteria for a guy to want to be a woman, in a relationship with a woman. You understand? That's where he's really looking at who you are. So the thing is, if you want a relationship with these men, or you want a relationship with a guy, one is you have to be the type of woman who displays relationship material type of characteristics. And two, also, you have to find a guy who actually wants to be in a relationship. Now, there are some guys who don't want to be in a relationship at first, then they get to know you, they see you are relationship material, and then they change their minds and actually want to be in a relationship with you. That also happens. But a lot of times it's better when you find a guy who's already in that mindset, so that since he's in that mindset and then he sees and deals with you and he sees, okay, this woman is relationship material, okay, I'm feeling her, let's see where we could go with this, and then he'll try to actually make something happen with you. All right? So remember, if you want to be the type of woman who has a better chance of finding that relationship, you have to ask yourself, am I relationship material? And then, if the answer is yes, if you realize, if you're honest with yourself and you say, yeah, I actually do those things that most guys would like, then all you need to do is find those guys who want the relationship, or, you be with certain guys who will most likely want to be in a relationship with you based off of those characteristics. If you are not relationship material, then you need to work on those things. So if you have a bad attitude, you're most likely not relationship material. You have to work on those things. If you are, a chick who's not really submissive, you got to work on that. If you don't like to follow a man's lead, you got to work on that. You understand? So there's certain things that show that you might not be relationship material to most guys, and you have to work on those things to become relationship material. All right, so that's pretty much it. Listen, if you have any questions, make sure you click the link below. Also, make sure you go to hewantsyou.com to get my free audio program, 7 highly effective steps for finding and keeping a man. And I'll talk to you soon. And remember, the truth is inside you. Peace. I'm gone.